YouTube. So in this video today, I want to have a chat with you all about price rises and the price rises that I've put in for this 2024 season. I'm going to talk about what I've decided to do, how I do it, the reasoning behind it, and more importantly, how has it been taken. There has been ups and there has been downs, and also a little bit of chitter chatter after that. So I must admit, my decision on not why I've done it or how I've done it, changed a little bit. So at the start of the year, the last gardening season, I implemented a firm policy beforehand. So last year, it was one of them where, I'll be honest with you, I was a bit worried about putting my prices up for certain people. So some people went years without a price rise, a bit sort of, should I, shouldn't I, and sometimes I did, sometimes I didn't. I put prices up for new customers, and what that resulted in was I ended up with almost two sets of customer bases. I had my old customers, which some of them were brilliant, some of them weren't. And I think when you first start out, first couple of years, you have a less than perfect sort of thing. But so I had almost two sets of customers. I had one set that was brilliant, I had two sets of different paying customers. I had one set of customers that were a lot higher than the others, and that meant that I'd have days where I'd go and work for these old customers, the legacy ones, shall I say, and I'd do work for other ones, and I'd see the difference in price. I'd see, I'm earning more this time than I am last time. So I had that sort of difficulty, and basically I come to realise that actually loyalty for some people is the price. It's the fact that you're cheap, and I think they knew that I was cheap. So obviously, luckily for me, people like that with that mindset were bad customers anyway, so I've gotten rid of them. Last year I had that big cull, but at the start of last year I made the decision to implement a policy. So my policy is half of the customers one year, half of the customers the next year. How much I put it up, well, how I do that as well. So how do I decide? This year it's resulted in a bit of a blanket sort of price rise. So I'll be honest with you, for the majority it's about £2.50, £3. In years gone by, and this is what I'm saying, when you don't put prices up, you really have to put them up to keep people in, to keep in line with your others. And that's what I did, and that's what caused that problem last season with one of my legacy customers, where I put the price up and she wasn't very happy. Spoiler, I still go to her, and it's fine, it's just money. And for some people, they worry about not having enough money when they haven't got enough money, and then some people worry about not having enough money, well, when basically they got plenty of money. She was in the latter camp. But it's sort of not up to me to look at people's situations. I've just got to react accordingly. So last season I did what I said, I implemented it, and it worked. A little bit of pushback from last year, I think I talked about that. This year, exactly the same. Start of the season, what I did is I sat down with my diary and I wrote down every single one of my regular customers on a great big piece of paper, all the customers, and then next to it I put the price that I charge them. So if it's a fixed price, so say Mrs. Such and Such, £25 one off, fortnightly. Mr. Such and Such, £20 an hour. Mrs. Such and Such, £4 million an hour. And then what I normally put next to it, this helped me because it helped to put things in perspective. I put how long I'm there on average. So Mrs. Such and Such, I cut the grass on a fortnight, £25, 20 minutes I'm there. Mr. Such and Such, I charge him £30, I'm there an hour and 10 minutes. Mrs. Such and Such, charge her £20 an hour, I'm normally there for 2 hours, once every 2 weeks. And what you start seeing is you start seeing a pattern. You start seeing basically the ones that are punching well above the bait. So I've got customers where, you know, and not many of them, I'd love to have more of them, where you're there, you know, 40 minutes, sorry, like you're there like 20 minutes and it's £45. Or you could be there for 35 minutes, half an hour's job. I think the golden matrix, what people always shoot for, is £1 a minute with grass cutting. I think once you start getting over certain amounts, it's sort of, you know, looking at different sort of figures. I'd be honest with you, I don't tend to stick to certain, you know, matrices like that. I generally tend to stick to, you know, well, that works for me. So with that list, I can then go through and, like I said, you can work out. So Mr. Such and Such, where I'm charging him say £40 and I'm there, or £30, 35, whatever, and I'm there an hour and 10. Well, you know, if you divide that by the hour or whatever, you work out your actual hourly rate, you know, you're sort of punching low there. So people like that I look to bring up. Even if it went up last year, again, I'd look at putting it in this time, you know, just to keep up with everybody else, basically. So price rises have been, as I said, about a couple of pounds, £2.50, £3, and it is for half of the people. Now, I'll tell you how I do it, but I'll give you a few caveats. First off, you don't need to tell, your policy is your policy. So for me, I won't say to a customer, yep, everyone gets put up. I don't tell them anything about price rises, because if you say, yeah, you know, when I take you on, price will go up once every 2 years, because then what happens if you do have to put it up? What happens if that job that you priced up thinking, you know, it's going to be in and out half an hour, you're there an hour and 10, you know, you're not earning the money you need to be. So obviously all these figures are sort of to show the difference between it. So you don't need to tell them your policies. It's up to you. You could put it in and make people aware, but that's a separate video. That's like pros and cons to, you know, should you tell them, shouldn't you tell them? It's a whole other discussion. Likewise, so when I come to tell people the price, so when do I put the prices up? For me, first visit back. Always the first visit back. So if their first visit is at the start of the year, goes up at the start of the year. If their first visit is now, so the majority of mine, half last week, half this week, done. It's the end of this week and I can sort of tell you how they've been taken, how people have took them, you know. So yeah, it says what it's what you expect it to be. So how do I do it and how do I tell them? For me, the vast majority of people, I just tell them basically that there's going to be a price rise. Now, customers of mine, if I always communicate via text message, then I'll text them and I'll say, hi, it's, you know, your first cut's booked in, whatever, bit of a sort of, how are you, all that, hope you're well. Just letting you know, prices will go up from, you know, such and such date. From the first visit, your price will go up from this to that. And I always do it as well from the visit after I first come. I don't like sort of springing it on them. I'd rather say, right, after your first visit, the price will be going up. And as I said, it's £2.50, £3, whatever. And that's how I do it. As I said, there could be pros and cons to each one, but genuinely, that's how I do it. That after the first visit, the price will go up. Again, ring people up, text them, it's your call on that. So I've done that this year, told everybody. There's been high points and low points, but the low points have not been too bad really. Now my customer base, I'd say, is pretty much perfect. Well, it's not perfect, I'd say it's it's a 9 out of 10, that's what I'd say. I am happy with it, but like anything, there's a couple. So the first lady on, when I come back, I told her, and she's one of the customers I'd say is the tightest customer, and she's known for being tight. Bloody hell, her children tell me that she's tight, and they actually said to me, she says she won't pay more than what you're charging. I'm like, well, her price is going up next year, so you know, we'll see. And she put it this way, one example of a tightness is If she's cooking under the grill, when she takes the food out, she'll turn the grill off, you know, turn the food over, reignite it, put it back under. Maybe that's being savvy. I thought it was quite hilarious, to be fair. So I told her, and again, I try and tell as many people as I can face to face, so you can gauge the reaction. You can see, like, I've had one lady, and I'll be honest with you, she didn't take it bad, but she, oh my God, not another price rise, everything's going up. But I took that as, this lady, she's in a pensioner's bungalow, she's probably, you know, making ends meet as it is, and it's another thing she's got to find. It's another £2.50 she's got to find at the end of every month. And that's what I want to get onto, but I'll get onto that in a little bit. So, like I said, it's, yeah, so that one lady, she was like that. I had another lady where she was like, her face just dropped, like she was shocked. There was no two ways about it, but she looked insulted. And I told her, and you know, it's tempting to say, well look, I've tried to keep the price the same, I'm sorry, but don't. That is the price, you know. Now the actual time when you know the price rises have been success, maybe in 2 weeks time, 3 weeks time, I'll be putting a video saying customers have dropped me, because you tell them and they might think about it. And this is the thing where I look at every single customer for the prices, and you've got to weigh each one up, because you could have customers where that job's only worth that much, and if you keep putting it up and up, they might think, hey up, I'm not getting, you know, good value for money here. So you've got to sort of think about it as well. You see, no end of gardeners where they say they lose customers over money, they lose customers over price rises. And the thing is, it could be that could be the thing that breaks the camel's back, so to speak. And what I mean by that is that, I'm going to say it, but I don't mean it in a harsh sense. Well, I'll explain. You could have done something that fucked this customer off over the season, and then suddenly you're asking for more money. People will have somebody, even though they're dissatisfied with them. There's not as queer as folk. You might do something that winds them up that you're completely unaware about. And this is just, you know, instead of the customer saying, look Sam, last time you come, you dropped litter out your pocket as you walked off, just picking one out of my head here, you know, could you not do that again? Well, it could actually end up festering with them, and that could be, you know, if they have a bad day, whatever, the missus is having a go at them, that could be, you know, and they see you, and then you say, oh, the price has gone up, and it's all, you know, thinking like that, and then that could be, as I said, the straw that breaks the camel's back. Another thing as well, and I've been aware of this, we are in a recession, people are struggling. I go to customers where I can tell, and you know, they're in, basically they're living pension to pension, and I've actively this year, you know, some of them I didn't put up last year, some of them I did put up last year, you know, so some people it's their turn for a price rise, and I've looked and I thought I'll leave it for this year, because for one, it's not worth rocking that boat, because that extra £2.50 a fortnight, even though it's small to me, for their generation, they're seeing a £5 a month as £5 a month when they were younger or when they were working. Seems a lot of money, even though you can't really get much for a £5 now, maybe a meal deal. So I made a decision for some people not to, again, just not to. I think there's one person I left off just to not rock the boat. One lady this year, she's a really good customer of mine, and well, actually I'll tell you about some of the good. I've put the prices up, yep, no problem, brilliant. You know, you need to do what you need to do, you know, just the acknowledgement without the funny looks. It's, you know, one person was like, yeah, well, we did have a discussion and we thought you were going to, but we're fine with it because you need to earn the money, Sam. One lady says, no, I'm not paying you that, I'll pay you double instead. So she's paying, instead of £2.50, she's giving an extra £5. So things do sort of, you know, it's ups and downs. There was one lady today where I went to her, and I put the price up for her. I told her, and I says, look, and to be fair, it's one of them where you'll probably see the annoyance more than I have in this situation. It's a £20 lawn cut, and I put it up to £22.50. It's not the easiest lawn cut, but it's one of that. Again, I'm there 20 minutes, sometimes 30 minutes, but I always do, every so often I'll do extras and not charge a bit of weed killer here, bit of sort of weed and feed it, you know what I mean? So I put the price up and I told her, and she just says to me, she says, no, she said, I can't afford it. She said, I used to pay my previous gardener £15. Well, he stopped because he went out of business. And part of me is tempted to say, well, look, where is your previous gardener? You know, did he do the good as job as I am? Are you really going to risk, you know? So if I say, well, look, I'm sticking to my guns, my price is £22.50 now for a cut, you're going to have to find somebody else over £7.50. You know, maybe she'll find someone cheaper. Maybe she'll go job and knocker. Who knows? But I had that decision to make there and then. And this is something that you're going to have to do. She's a good customer. She leaves me to it. And as I said, the majority of times, I am hitting that £1 a minute mark. I'm hitting the mark that I need to be for this lawn. The £2.50 extra, am I going to risk losing a good customer for £2.50? Flip it the other way. Is she going to risk losing a good gardener for £2.50? Some people see it like that, some people don't. Some people, and I don't know how she thinks, but some people might take that gamble. Now, you guys out there are probably thinking she's a crap customer. Do I think she's a crap customer? Is she on the shit list? She isn't, but it's like anything. It's not personal. If another grass cut come in where it was more money, less time, easier to, you know, because she's got a set of steps I have to go down. If another one come in where it's easier, you know, no stress, would I drop her for that? I'd have to think about it. But in this climate, how it is at the moment, the business isn't suffering, it's doing well, as I'd say. But the weather we've been having, my phone just hasn't been ringing. Like the exterior cleaning side's going brilliant. People have got gutters, block gutters, you know, overflowing. You're noticing work needs doing. The power washing work's coming in. Even the work for the mosquito. But the work for the gardening side is because people are looking outside and they're not seeing. They're thinking, oh, it's shit weather, you know. We'll ring somebody soon. So maybe the thing is don't be greedy. But it's not greed, it's a necessity. We need to put the prices up. But it's up to you how you do it. As I said, I look at everybody case by case, but I do try and stick to the 50% one year, 50% the other year. Maybe in a week's time, you know, maybe this lady, to be fair, the lady who said she couldn't afford it, she did send me a text message actually, and she's never done this before. She did send a text saying, thank you, my lawn looks amazing. She's never done that. Maybe she's feeling a bit guilty because she never actually asked how much the price is going up to. So maybe in a couple of weeks time I'll be doing a video saying, oh, customers have dropped me over this, because as I said, people can take things the wrong way. So have a good day guys, keep on gardening.